So, the story is about Charles VIII, aka Bonnie Prince Charlie, and the Jacobite rebellions of 1745 is the stuff of campfire legends and also Shakespearean tragedies. And I don't know how many TV shows or miniseries or documentaries or movies that has been made about the things that happen around him. But this is the first movie I have seen about it, and I really like it, despite all the shortcomings that this movie has. What are those shortcomings and what was the story of Bonnie Prince Charlie? That's what we're gonna find out today. This is Bonnie Prince Charlie with David Niven. It is 1745 and the House of Tudor is basically running Scotland at this point. Now the old king of Scotland, who has been usurped, is too old to make a valiant comeback, but his son might do it. And Bonnie Prince Charlie arrives to Scotland with the help of the French, who swore that they would back them up financially and military. They would sort of backtrack on their promise as time goes by, but that's a story for another time. And he rallies around the Scottish to fight the English for independence and stuff like that, which culminates in the last ever battle on British soil, aka the Battle of Culloden, the year following the Jacobites' rebellion of 1745, which then made Bonnie Prince Charlie to flee to the Isle of Skye, where he hopes to escape the clutches of the English. And that is essentially the story of this movie. Now, the story about the Jacobite rebellion and the tragedy of Culloden Muir could have easily been turned into a fantastic movie. But this movie suffers from having a budget that is not quite big enough to make you feel that you're there, to make you feel that you are a part of this thing. And the most interesting things from a storytime perspective is, of course, the Jacobite rebellions and the Battle of Culloden Muir and stuff like that, because this movie focuses too much, in my opinion, of the Isle of Skye thing, which is more of the folklore campfire tales section of the movie, which has a lot of legends and things around it, which they probably have sugar coated a lot and stuff like that, but that's also a story for another time. But the thing is that the sequences on Isle of Skye more fits the budget of this movie, so I cannot be too critical about it. Bonnie Prince Charlie is played by David Niven, probably the most British of all people who has ever lived. He was the most sophisticated, he was the most elegant and the most dignified man you could ever hope. I maintain that even though he was too old at the time to do it, I think he probably could have played the best James Bond character of all time. He would have been so sophisticated, he would have been so, dignified that nobody would have believed him to be able to kick anybody's ass, but he would have been very, very elegant and very, very dignified and very, very sophisticated. But I think he's pretty good at playing Bonnie Prince Charlie, even though there's a lot of overacting, there's a lot of quite hokey acting in this movie, which might be in the style at the time. Should you watch this movie? The short answer to that is yes, because it's a very entertaining movie, even though there's probably a lot in this movie that is not historically accurate, and there's probably a lot of things in this movie that don't follow the story and stuff like that. There's also a lot of things in this movie that's aged quite horribly, especially from a technical aspect, especially when you're having sequences that should be grand and spectacular but ends up looking a bit pants. So it is still a movie I really recommend, and I think this was a very good movie. I think you could make a very compelling story about the Jacobite rebellion, the Battle of Culloden, and the thing that happened in Isle of Skye in a very compelling miniseries, or maybe a big epic directed by Martin Scorsese and having maybe, I don't know, Andrew Garfield maybe as Bonnie Prince Charlie. It is a fun swashbuckling adventure in the end, and grim costume drama in the beginning, but as a whole I think it is a very compelling viewing. The movie has aged quite horribly in some points, but for the most part I am actually okay with it. I'm okay with hokey acting, I'm okay with technical mishaps, and I'm okay with, you know, technical shortcomings as long as you tell a compelling story enough, and they actually do, because the story of Bonnie Prince Charlie is so compelling that even a kind of hokey, way past its prime movie actually could make this kind of work. And well, what else do you need to know? I think this movie kind of rules in its own weird way, and especially towards the end, and especially in the second half of the movie. Bonnie Prince Charlie may have some problems with its historical accuracy, but I really don't care that much about it. I still give this movie 68 points. David Niven is so good that I can accept some overacting and some hokey acting from, you know, the co-stars and the co-characters. By the way, it's kind of funny that all the British in these movies are absolute assholes who lives in Doucheville and all graduated from Dickhead University. It's also kind of ironic that, of all people, the most British man of all time, David Niven, is playing one of the most legendary, iconic Scottish men of all time. I find that deeply ironic, but it's kind of fun. So we'll see you next time for Will So-and-so reviewing, well, such and such. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much.